Hi Lupe, it's amazing to have you on here. I'm super excited to get to talk to you. I'm Sarah, I'm from Fizzle, which is an online platform that is helping musicians to earn more money online. So do you want to just open up and tell everybody who you are and what it is you do within music?
Yeah, sure. I'm Lupe Dragon. I'm a singer-songwriter from New Jersey, in the US. And I make music. I make alternative pop music. Um, and yeah, I guess I'll start right there. Um,
Yeah, how long have you been doing it for?
I mean, I've always kind of had music in my life since I was about like 3 years old, doing like school choir, drama club, whatnot. But I've been officially like recording my music professionally since 2017, 2018.
Yeah, it's like the last 4 or 5 years kind of thing.
Yeah.
Have you got a YouTube channel for people to check you out and stuff?
Yes, I have a YouTube channel. I'm on Spotify, on Apple Music, on all that, all the platforms,
Oh,
all the
that's
main
great.
ones.
Yeah, what we'll do after we finish this, if you send me all your links over, and we'll put them in the comments below for anybody that wants to go and check you out.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Obviously you're saying you do like um alternative pop. What kind of music is that then? Is it kind of like indie type music? Do you play any instruments?
I kind of call it alternative pop just because I don't feel like I fit in a genre. I kind of feel like I continue to mix and create like hybrid stuff and play with a lot of different sounds.
Yeah.
I do play guitar and ukulele. I haven't used any ukulele yet in my music, but maybe one day. But I do play guitar. That's usually like the main go-to um instrument that I pick in my music because I play acoustic a lot.
Yeah.
I've added some electric to some of my recent work. But yeah, that's my go-to. I just feel like all alternative music is basically anything that kind of like strays away from like the mainstream like pop stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Like, obviously, everybody does just think of the genres just being flat out like pop, rock, metal. And I think a lot of people are doing it now where they're creating their own kind of genre. And it's dead interesting. Like, I've I've heard like a few mixes recently where there's like rock and rap put together. And I just think it's so interesting to see how they're mixed together. What do you think is your greatest strength within like everything you do music wise?
Um, I think songwriting. I think of the lyrics way before I think of like the melody or how I want it to sound like production wise. Sometimes the production like style will come to me and I'll already think of like the reference tracks that I kind of want to like follow, but most of the time I really just go for the story. I write when I like feel something. Some people just write all the time. I really my best writing just comes out of passion, just comes out of something like really bad or really good happening in my life.
Yeah, so it's kind of being inspired by stuff that's kind of going on in your daily life. So it's a little insight for everybody just to see who you are and the kind of feelings that you're going through. So I think that's really, really interesting. Um, do you do all of that work by yourself then? Are you the songwriter, the vocalist, the music, and then the producer of it all?
So I'm not the producer, but I work with many very awesome producers. The most recent one I started working with, his name is Matt Pelosi. And I started working with him because the other producer that I was working with actually is a mastering engineer now. And actually, he's been working with someone who's been mastering stuff for Taylor Swift and a couple other artists. And it's right out of New Jersey too, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I started working with this new producer, and we just kind of clicked. We had a lot of the similar music genres that we liked, and the first song that we worked on together, "Your Charming Head," happened to be more like of a rock sound, and he really grew up on like punk and alternative.
Yeah.
So it blended really, really well. But yeah, I don't produce. It's definitely something I would love to learn on my own just to kind of play around with my musicality. But
Yeah.
right now I've just been focused on songwriting and playing guitar and all the skills that I do have right now.
Is there anyone that you've like collabed with actually making a song with for like joining vocals up or anything like that? Is there a few people that you've done that with or that you would really like to do that with?
So far with my music, I worked with an artist called RV for a remix of my song Not the Same. Now he's in California. Um, but that was really fun to do. His vocals were great on that, and that's a song about anxiety, which is something that he also struggles with. So that was really cool to kind of be able to give another perspective on the song. And then for Distance, my other song, I worked with Samad Savage, who is widely popular on the internet. He's incredible, and he's super talented. He's also a rapper. Um, and besides what he did on my song, his discography is amazing.
Yeah.
So he was a really cool person I got to work with on my music. And then as far as some other people go, I do features for artists that is work for hire, and that stuff is also really cool. And there's a new artist in Pennsylvania that I started to work with, and I'm gonna be on his album, I believe, but I don't know the release date. So I've been working with some cool people
Yeah.
more recently.
That's what we love about like the music industry in general. We found that you all kind of help each other out, you collab together, you raise each other up. It's not like it's not direct competition. You're not trying to beat each other. You're all there to help people up. And I absolutely love that idea that you're all like a big community. Obviously we're doing podcasts with a few different people, and a lot of people have said that. And we do have like our Facebook group where we want everyone to be, because it's just nice to be able to, even if it's just a bit of advice from somebody that you want, even if it's not just collab. I just feel like it's just a good atmosphere in general within like the music industry.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is I constantly get to meet people on and off the internet, because I love playing shows. I haven't played any recently, but last month I played a lot of really nice shows, and they were for good causes. I love doing fundraisers and meeting artists that are doing stuff just for the love of it. I get to meet a lot of people, and I think that's my favorite part of being a musician, is people really liking my music, relating to it, and just being able to also see other people on stage doing the same thing that I'm doing. And that's like the best part of it.
Yeah, I imagine that you get like a better feeling from your music as well, and you can properly read like the audience to know what they do really like. Like if I went onto your Spotify, you would have no idea how I would feel about it. But when you're like doing a gig or whatever, obviously you get that instant response. So I imagine that's really rewarding.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's cool because I'm in so many, I guess, like music spaces. And one of the main ones that I'm in is hip hop, even though I don't make hip hop. One of my really good friends in the scene, who hosts a pop out pop up show every other month. It's usually surrounded with hip hop people, and it's so cool when I get to perform in front of them and people actually like it.
Yeah.
So I think the hip hop scene has been very welcoming for me as an artist, because I don't ever really feel like I fit in with the rest of the artists that I am friends with. And when I was kind of trying to get into the rock scene in New Jersey, I really was surrounded by a lot of older men, like the dad rock bands and
Yeah.
the dive bars, and they either liked me and made me feel weird, or they didn't like me, and things never really meshed. But the hip hop scene is really cool, and they're always so supportive. So
Yeah, I think it's nice that they're giving you the opportunity to perform where they are as well, because it opens up that genre to the people that maybe wouldn't have listened or heard it before. So it's like you're introducing them to something brand new, and it's all your style.
yeah, of course. And I think that also opens up the opportunity for people who want to like work together, who want to listen in more. Um, it's funny because people look at people in hip hop and think all that they listen to is rap. And I've met a lot of people in hip hop that do listen to rock, that do listen to pop, that do listen to like the recent rapper that I work with. I think he listens to Big Time Rush, and
Yeah.
that's like his guilty pleasure for him. And I thought that was really funny, but it's like, yeah, I mean, if he's a guy in hip hop, why can't he enjoy like a boy band? I don't know. I think if you like it, you like it, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like as I've gotten older, I've listened to more kind of music. Like when I was younger, I'd very much just listen to rock and metal. And then as I've got older, I've kind of enjoying different kind of music. So you could be listening to like Slipknot 1 minute, and then you've got like Beyonce or Avril Lavigne. Like it's a complete mix that I listen to. Or like I said before, Eminem. Like there's just such a wide variety. And the thing that I like best about music, I was speaking about this the other day to someone, is it doesn't really matter what mood you're in because there always seems to be music that will reflect that. So if you want to feel sad and cry, there'll be something that you can put on, or if you want to feel really happy, there's also something that you can put on that will make you extra cheery. And I love that association. And when you hear lyrics that really speak to you, like you were saying, you've done one on anxiety. That's something I would love to listen to because I like getting the views on that because mental health is so important. It's just it is getting spoken about more now, but like when like I was younger, it wasn't something that was really mentioned and people didn't really understand it. And unless you've been through it yourself, it's really hard to like understand what it actually is and how it affects you.
Yeah, and I think when I wrote Not the Same, I wasn't really thinking about the fact that it was about anxiety. I was thinking like this is how I feel right now. And I didn't realize that it was my anxiety kind of like speaking at me, but I'm talking about like feeling like dying and feeling like I don't know like my way back home because I'm just like so so anxious. I think it's great that a lot of artists nowadays are talking about mental health issues. Like Selena Gomez just put out a documentary and it was fascinating and eye opening. And I think more people should, watch it because, the things that she's talking about, like dealing with her lupus, a bipolar disorder, and all those things. And we look at these huge mega stars and we forget that they're also humans. And
Yeah.
so we ask a lot of them, even though sometimes it's just not possible. So I really thought it was great that we're seeing more of that in the media that we consume because I think it's very helpful for us to kind of see, like you're not alone, like,
Yeah.
and it's possible to be able to like cope with the things that you deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, definitely. See, I heard somebody else talking about the Selena Gomez documentary, I think just a couple of days ago. So I'm gonna have to give it a watch because I haven't yet. But people were saying it's really good. It's emotional, but it's really good to watch. So it's definitely on my watch list.
Yeah, I literally got the free trial of the Apple TV Plus just to watch it.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's really good. And another artist that, has been talking a lot about mental health was Demi Lovato too. And Demi
yeah.
Lovato talked a lot about that on the new album that came out too. And I think that's absolutely, great to like hear it in the music and be able to like see them talk about that. It's all just really great stuff.
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot that kind of come from Disney and now they're speaking out and saying about how hard stuff is. Even going back to like Britney Spears, I watched her documentary not long ago. That was obviously hard to watch. But yeah, there is a few like even Miley Cyrus that you can see it all that they've all struggled with that, and it's nice to know that they have like the normal people. Like, do you know what I mean? They are humans too, and everybody goes through stuff. It doesn't matter if you're rich and famous or not. So I do think it's good how open people are being about it now. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I think in general, just the I guess like the child star thing, that's kind of like a common theme is mental health issues. Because I mean, Selena was talking about like working since she was like 7 years old. Like 7 years old. I could never think of that. I had a normal childhood growing
Yeah,
up. I didn't start. I didn't get my first job until I was 16. So, I never had to think about, like getting on Barney and like started working already and then go to the
yeah,
next thing and the next thing. And I imagine that that's a lot of stress on someone. And I think in general, I mean, like, another artist I could think of is Ariana Grande dealt with PTSD from the Manchester
yeah. That was right near us as
concert.
well. We were in Manchester, so
Really? Yeah. I think it's amazing that she's still able to like just get up every day after that happening, because I'll be honest, I don't know if I would be able to, because I think that's just so much. And I also think it was great that she did the what was it called, the fundraiser show or whatnot,
Yeah, yeah,
the One World for Manchester. I thought that was so great, because even after all that happening, it was such a good cause, and she was able to give back to the community that, was affected by the tragedy. um yeah, I a lot of artists just go through these unimaginable things, and I think it's, again, great that they're able to, still talk about it and also still be here. I think that's amazing.
yeah.
So it's all really really just good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, more recently, there was Aaron Carter who's passed away from addiction after suffering from all of like child stardom and the pressures of it and stuff. So it's definitely something that needs spoken about more. And I think more guys need to open up about it as well, because the ones we've mentioned there are like the female ones, but obviously Aaron Carter mustn't have got the support he needed. So there's definitely obviously that's still raw with everybody at the moment. And I think I know that mindfulness with men and stuff, and the mental health is becoming more being able to talk about it, and you don't need to man up and stuff anymore. So yeah, I think it's really, really good that it is coming out there. And you said you're working with a guy on that song, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's really good.
The interesting part about Aaron Carter is, it wasn't really like my time, but like my sister grew up with him, and she's 31 now, and he passed away at 34, so just slight age difference.
Yeah.
I remember all of his like childhood basically like on screen. I remember the
Yeah.
Lizzie McGuire episode. I remember all that. But I also remember listening to him when I started college, because he put out an album called Love, and he produced the whole album, recorded his vocals and everything. And I remember that nobody was talking about this album, and it was just a great album. And like, I'm hoping, like after this, that like people recognize him, not just for like, the controversy and the bad things that happened, but realize
Yeah.
that, he was an artist like fully, and also he was struggling a lot. And I'm it's so mad on the internet when people are like, well, he was an addict and this and that, and I'm like, but that doesn't mean that he deserved the way that his life ended.
No,
Like,
definitely. I
so
think a lot of people don't realize that addiction is a disease as well. It's
yeah.
not, they don't choose to be addicted to things, and it is very sad. Like you're saying, your sister's 31, I'm 32. So I've grown up watching him as well from serving USA and stuff. So, and then to think he's only 2 years older than me and he's struggling that much and stuff. And then he's ended up in this really horrible situation, which unfortunately has ended with his life ending. Yeah, it's just awful.
Yeah, but I think his producers released his new album already right after he passed, because it wasn't supposed to come out until December. I remember listening to this and just hearing the lyrics, and like I I I don't know, I have a lot of mixed emotions, because I'm like I really did like him as an artist, and I knew that he was like, you know he had problems. He had a strained relationship with his brother Nick from Backstreet Boys too, and I'm also a Backstreet Boys fan, so like seeing the TikToks and videos of Nick crying at the recent concert really really just affected me for like the past week or so.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that, again, like this can be another, way for people to, check in on their loved ones and make sure that
Yeah.
they're getting the help that they need, because I think that's super important. And again, I still think there's just a whole stigma of drug addicts, and I think we need to stop that, because it's not
Yeah,
cool.
definitely. There is a big stigma around it. Me and my husband actually, this isn't really to do with the music and stuff, but we did take part in a short film, which was like trying to get rid of the stigma of addicts and stuff, and realizing that people can recover, realizing that people don't do that on purpose. It's not a choice. It's just, unfortunately, bad choices might have led to it, but nobody actually wants to be an addict, and they don't want the stigma of like they're choosing that life, because they don't. Oh, that was a really interesting conversation about mental health. It's gone
That was.
completely an opposite direction that I was going to go into, but I really like it. And I think it is important to get it out there.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna move on to my next question. But thanks for sharing all that with me, and I love that we just had like that chat there, and hopefully we can reach out to somebody who maybe they need it if they need any like resources or anything. Maybe I'll put that in the comments below as well because I think it's super important.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so my question of why we've been doing these podcasts in general is because we want to know what people feel about either going independent or signing up with a label. So you yourself, are you independent or are you signed to a label, and what do you think are the pros and cons of both of them?
Well, excuse me. Well, I'm independent now. But I'm open to the idea of a label. I would actually love that because that would mean me leaving my 9 to 5 to do this full time. Um, I feel kind of mixed on both. While being independent is great when you're starting out, um, it it sucks money wise. Fi- Financially, I'm not really making anything off my music
Yeah,
because the ratio that most people don't know is that from like Spotify and all these places, I'm getting like 0.0000000 like 3
yeah,
cents. So that's like literally a fraction of a penny I'm making per stream. People when I started making music, I thought that, oh, per stream I'm going to get $1. So if I get 1,000 streams, I'm getting $1,000, and
yeah,
that's just not the reality of it. um However, being signed to a label, depending on how you do like a label sign, like a true traditional like label signing, they have the rights to your music. They can kind of manipulate, and pick and choose how your music sounds. And however, they basically are kind of like a glorified bank, and they kind of like, are able to give you that money
yeah,
to continue to do what you're doing. So in a way, it really depends. And nowadays with label signings, you could kind of like pick and choose how you do stuff. Like I have a friend who is signed to a label and does distribution through Warner, but she still has creative control over what she does.
yeah,
So I really just think it depends on how you do things. I think it depends on what you're looking for from music either. If you're kind of just stubborn and you don't want any type of creative control, I mean, not really stubborn, but like if you know like what you're looking for and you know how to do it independently and are able to make money from that, totally take that route. But if you're someone that's looking to like fast track your career, getting signed to a label is great. And depending on the type of contract that you have, if the contract's like 2 years, you could do like the label 2 years and then be like, okay, I'm independent, I'm not going to re-sign a
yeah,
contract. So a lot of people do that. Like one of my favorite rappers, Fora, he was in a label for about like, I don't know, 2-3 years, and then he was like, I'm done, I'm independent, and now he has his own money and his clothing brand and
yeah,
stuff. Taylor Swift is technically independent now. She does her distribution through one of like the major places, but all the money goes back to her. And then Chance the Rapper is independent too. He's a big artist and he's independent. So you could definitely do it. It is much harder though. Um, However, Taylor Swift again, she started with the big machine records for a
yeah,
while, and then really pulled away from that when the label was sold, and then all her masters were sold. That was really like the big like thing that caused her to kind of do like the re-records and all that. So some people just don't have the option to not be in a label. So I don't think one is better than the other. I think it just depends on what you're looking for.
yeah. What you want from it and what you're willing to give, and the percentage as well
Mm-hmm.
that they take off you, I think is important. Sorry. Someone that I was talking to the other day said, like, if you are going to sign with a label, absolutely check your contract, make sure there's nothing in there that, like, they might
You get a
say that you
lawyer.
have to do so many albums or you're not going to get your money.
You have to get a lawyer. That's
Yeah,
what you need when they give you that contract. Do not sign it right away. You get a lawyer
yeah,
and
just
make sure
double check
that
over it and make sure that you're making yourself secure
yeah,
if you are going to choose to go into the label. Obviously, I understand it would be a good idea for some if they're going for like a couple of years and then obviously you're then well known. So then you can go independent, it'd be a lot easier. Obviously, independent is a lot harder. You're doing a lot of the work yourself. And like you said, you're barely getting anything per stream, which is like an issue that we found people were struggling with. I don't know if you know much about Fizzle or that, but basically we're a platform where we're going to let music artists come on and they can make like a monthly rolling like subscription profile, or they can have a free one. It's just another place where you can share your music. And then when you've got followers on there, they can send you tips or they can like sign to you monthly and stuff. It's just another way to make an extra income alongside what you're doing. And obviously, because we do know that streaming doesn't pay a lot, whatever you earn on our site, you get 85% off. So we are doing it mainly for you guys. It's not like we obviously have to cover our fees for posting and everything, and that's where our 15% comes from. But in general, it is just trying to help newer artists, I guess, try and get more money so that they can then hopefully go independent if they want to stay being independent.
Yeah, I love that idea. I would love to join the app and try it out. I think that's really cool what you're doing for us. So yeah, thank you. That's
We'd
great.
love to have you on though. And like the best thing is as well, because we are quite new and we are speaking to different music artists, we're finding what kind of things you guys would like on the site and how we can best help you. So somebody else suggested that we have it. It's not so that you can only upload pictures and videos, but you can upload like MP3s. So we're going to put that in there, and then like a live function, and then we're hopefully going to make it so that you can like they can make a playlist out of like whoever they subscribe to. So like the favorite artist, they can listen to a playlist through that. But yeah, we're at the very start, but we're working hard and we're going to try and get it best to how you guys can generate the most money out of it, and obviously get that 85% because it's like you said, maybe then you'd be able to stop the 9 to 5 and you could concentrate on it fully, and then there's more promotion time and whatnot. So
Yeah, that's such a great idea. I love that.
I'm glad you like it. We'll have to get you on. If you are, I'll again leave it in the comments below. I've been listening to your music. I think it's really good. I like it. So I'd absolutely recommend anybody who is watching this to go to the comments, check out your links, have a listen, and go and give Lupe a follow.
Go and check me out. I'm at Lupe Dragon on all my platforms except for TikTok. It's at Lupe the Dragon. So find me there.
Yeah, well, if you email me after this, then I'll just put it in the comments. But I just want to say thank you for coming on and speaking with me today. We went down away from what we was really speaking about, but I think it was really important to get that out there. I think it is something that really does need to be more talked about, and people need to get more open about. Especially with guys as well. I know women are affected, but it's easier for women to talk about their feelings. So I just want to thank you again for being open with us and having the chat today, and hopefully we'll get you on Fizzle and start earning a bit more money.
Sweet, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.